Hello everyone, this is Nemesis VR, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you all some tips and tricks on how to get better at Thrill of the Fight 2. In this video, I'm going to be giving tips that even new players and experienced players can use to increase their skill at the game. And now, I know what a lot of you guys are going to be saying. You're going to be asking, well Nemesis, why should we take the advice you're about to give us in this video? What makes you qualified? And here's the answer that I have to that question. I currently have almost 150 wins on Thrill of the Fight 2, and on top of it, I'm currently in the elite ranking for public ranked matches, which as of right now, as I'm recording this video, it is the highest ranking you can get in the game. So I think it's safe to say I know what I'm talking about here. Anyways, with all of this out of the way, let me get started. The first tip I have for you guys is distance management and timing. Now, regardless of what kind of fighter you are, what kind of stance or guard you use, distance management and timing are key things to learn in Thrill of the Fight 2. In terms of managing distance, I'm not telling you to constantly back up the entire fight, because that's how you end up losing or just looking like a coward. To get a better distance management understanding, you want to learn what your opponent's reach is, so you can learn at what range they can hit you, and at what range they can't hit you. After you learn how to do this, that's where the timing comes in. You want to be able to time when you should back away from your opponent to stay out of their reach, and learn at what times to move closer. That way you can figure out how to hit without getting hit. This is something that we all know, but it's a bit hard to actually implement this in your actual matches on the game. Counterpunching is a very useful skill that I encourage all of you to learn. In Thrill of the Fight 2, if you can, try to dodge an opponent's attacks by moving horizontally or vertical with your movement. And I'm talking IRL body movement, your actual body movement in real life, not the movement in the game that you get on standing mode. If you can do this, you can also inflict more damage by hitting hard in their weak points and vital spots while counterpunching, and that's where the need for accuracy comes in. In the picture on screen, I have highlighted all of the weak points and vital spots. The main weak points and vital spots are the liver, pancreas, which are all in the torso, and then the chin on the head. Some of the other areas that are in the weak spots and vital spots include the stomach, the solar plexus in the torso, and the temples on their head. Counterpunching in those areas with solid strength and speed into the punches are guaranteed to inflict some serious damage and possibly even knock down your opponent if you do this all correctly. The third tip that I have for you guys is telegraphing your opponent's attacks. A lot of you guys probably have some knowledge on telegraphing your opponent's punches by watching your opponent's hands. While this is a somewhat effective way to predict your opponent's next attack, you can get better results by also watching their shoulders and elbows. By doing this, you have anywhere from microseconds to a few extra seconds to predict your opponent's next attack. And while that may not sound like it's a huge difference and a huge improvement, those extra few seconds can make a huge difference in a match. You could be dominating a fight for the majority of it, but then a few seconds later, you could be knocked out because your opponent faked you out with a flinch, or because they got lucky, or whatever else it may be. So it's always good to have that extra second or two to be able to predict your opponent's next attack, and then implement some of the counterpunching we discussed earlier. So always remember, watch their shoulder movement to watch where their shoulders are rotating, and watch their elbows to make sure their elbows aren't coming forward to throw a jab or a cross or whatever it may be. In Thrill of the Fight 2, you are bound to find someone with a good defense and solid striking capabilities. So if you ever find yourself struggling to pierce an opponent's defense with a hard punch, this tip should be able to help just a little bit. Try and figure out your opponent's striking patterns, and once you've figured it out, locate the spots that they leave open in their defense when they're throwing these punches, and then go for the weak points that they're letting open. When they're opening themselves up to attack to you, this is where you need to incorporate the distance management and the counterpunching and the timing that we've talked about in the previous segments. If you're able to find where their weak spots are after they've opened their defenses with a hook or a jab or whatever punch they're throwing, go for the weak spots. If someone's throwing a hook, they're typically leaving the lower body area open, so go for the pancreas or liver. If they're throwing a cross, they're typically leaving parts of their jaw or temple open a tad bit, depending on what side you're facing, and all these other variables. So just watch their patterns, watch how they're striking, and watch their defense, and try and find openings. The fifth and final tip I have for you guys is maintaining your stamina during matches. Now, a major issue I see when people are playing Thrill of the Fight 2 is they get tired after one match. After one match, they go all out and they get completely drained of energy by the end of the second round or the beginning of the third round, and then they get knocked out and they lose the match. Now, you guys gotta remember, you don't have to go 100% all the way with your speed, strength, and everything for the entire match. You either want to do it in bursts to conserve your energy, or you want to pace your speed and strength in the fight and start in slow and then pick it up the longer the fight continues. And I also highly recommend keeping water near you to drink before a match and during the interval times between rounds. That way you can avoid dehydration. And on top of that, make sure you're breathing in through your nose and exhaling out of your mouth to avoid getting winded and exhausted during the match. If you guys also want a good drink recommendation to drink while you're playing the game or after you're done playing the game, Liquid IV Drink Mix Powder is really good for that. I'm not sponsored by them, but it's just a genuine product that I've used, where it's basically like a bag of saline. Like if you ever gone to the emergency room and you had to get like IV fluids for dehydration, the stuff that's in those IV fluids is called saline. This is essentially the drink version of that, with a little bit of extra vitamins and stuff added to keep you hydrated throughout the day. All you need is one packet of Liquid IV drink mix, and you could work out for 3 hours and still maintain your hydration. And if you also want to build up your stamina a little bit more, I recommend doing a few sparring sessions with a friend in the custom matches on Thrill of the Fight 2, and then going out for runs or walks in real life will also help increase your cardio and stamina. You don't want to just get stamina and get in shape from playing Thrill of the Fight 2, because realistically, you're not going to make too much progress doing that. If your goal is to get in shape or learn how to box or increase your stamina and everything, sure, Thrill of the Fight 2 will get the basics done, but if you really want to improve on a physical level in real life, actually work out, actually go for runs and walks, actually lift some weights and whatever, actually do some real life boxing training. Just do whatever feels comfortable for you if you want to see the best results, but don't try and push yourself too far, because you might end up hospitalizing yourself like I did back in October. Anyways, this is going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like on the video, and if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, let me know by leaving a comment on this video and subscribing to the channel. That way you can be notified about videos I make in the future. This has been Nemesis VR, and I will see you guys all later. Bye-bye.